Welcome back to Sun Devil Extra here at Farrington Stadium. Braden Bell joined alongside head coach of Sun Devil softball, Megan Bartlett. And first off, Coach, here we are. Season's here. I know it's an exciting time.
We're excited.
Kajikawa Classic this weekend. How exciting is this time of year for you, getting back into the flow of things, the season finally here?
Yeah, I mean, these girls have worked so hard. We're young for the first time in a long time, but my gosh, the growth has been absolutely tremendous. This young bunch they're feisty, they're driven, they're talented, and they're going to be a ton of fun to watch, not only in their early years, but hopefully as they become, veteran and very loyal Sun Devils.
And they are here now as a Big 12 program. And I know you have some history, of course, with your time at Texas, being an assistant coach in the Big 12. Of course, conference a little bit different now in the way it looks without Texas and OU, but
certainly,
you know this conference, you know everything else around it. What should fans expect about Big 12 softball?
It's strong. It is tough. It is certainly another conference task where you don't get a break any weekend at all. But I think we're going to be well prepared and we're ready for it. But you also have a few colder games, which I've already prepared the SoCal kids for. And I'm like, okay, this is what the thick sleeves are. You're going to need, ear warmers. And they're like the big parkas. They're like, no. And I'm like, guys, you're going to Iowa at the end of March. It's going to be cold. It'll be fine. We'll make it fun. But
yeah.
And they will certainly be ready to compete. But yeah, I think it is tough. It is high level, competitive, fast paced softball. And it's another conference that all, if not the majority, are going to get into postseason, and it's going to be tough.
Let's stay with the weather for a minute, because we don't need to worry about parkas here right now. We're sitting in the beautiful sunshine, of course. It's such a luxury being a player here, a coach here, whatever it is. I mean, look behind you. This is beautiful. 24 of your first 25 games right here, of course, several different tournaments. The one that's not at this stadium is West Phoenix against GCU. How big of an advantage is that while you're recruiting or you're even just preparing your bunch, knowing that you're going to get so many games, especially early in the year, right here at home?
Oh man, it is certainly a competitive advantage. It's also one that I have spent most of my career in the Midwest doing the planes, trains, and automobiles for the first 4, 5, 6 weeks of season. So yeah, the girls can play elite competition. They get to sleep in their own bed. Their bodies get to recover. Our supporters at Club Farrington are amazing, so they've always got this big crowd cheering them on, and it's one of the best places in the country to play softball, and we are certainly grateful for every bit of the home field advantage we get here.
Yeah, it's special. Just walking around here, you can feel it. There's something about the energy here that is...
A lot of history, a lot of tradition.
Yeah. You just look out at right center field or left center field, you see that history and tradition.
And then you can pan up to the palm trees. It keeps getting better.
Now you're putting some work on our very great Sean Crespin.
Sean.
Yeah, he'll get a job. I'm sure you're looking at it right now as I'm speaking. Coach, something that I know is really important for you in leading this program is culture. And those foundational pieces are something that you touch on a lot. What would you define your culture as in your program?
Family, hard work, toughness, and gratitude. It's what we do here. Those 21 players, they are people first to us, right? They become our family, our nieces, daughters, and that is what we certainly promise their parents, right? Heading into this whole crazy experience, because it's a lot. And I think anytime you can do this in a high trust situation, not just with, again, your players, but with their families, and it's certainly an open door, sometimes an open phone policy. If something's going on with one of the girls, I want to know about it. And so it's a tight-knit group. We spend a lot of time on the clubhouse and the culture, and stepping on the field and being tough competitors, just grimy and gritty and doing whatever it takes to win ball games and sacrifice for the people next to you, certainly. But the minute they step in that clubhouse, they are expected to be gracious and honest and good people and great sisters. And I think that duality with our girls makes them really, really special, because they get out here, we are going to win a ton of ball games, right? And we are going to compete for national titles and do all the things that I was brought here to do, and I have absolutely no doubt about that. But I do think with such a strong cultural foundation, you just don't ride the highs and the lows in it, right? It's going to give you a shot every year, even though the personnel may change slightly, because that is now the world we live in with the transfer portal. You have this really solid base of work ethic and expectation that we can all rely on, right, to continually get the job done year after year. So I think it creates a lot of expectation, a lot of continuity, and it's been fun. It's been one of the more rewarding, I think, parts of the last couple years.
Let me ask you this then, because you kind of just alluded to the transfer portal and how things have changed. And I think from an outsider's perspective, you hear it all the time on how culture is kind of a lost art in college athletics. But it does seem like you guys have it. You guys have that strong foundation. So when you're recruiting kids either out of the portal or out of high school, what are some of those traits you look for in players that can fit the culture that you've built here?
Women with a strong sense of self. I think that's where it starts. And we don't need to be the exact same person, right? And you don't have to be super type A or super, one thing or another. But I do think that moral grounding and that really strong sense of, I know what I'm great at, I know what I want, I know why I'm here, I can keep my priorities in order, and handle, again, like, it's not just the softball pieces. Like, there's so much pulling at these players' time. It's the academics, it's the social, but I think there's a lot of honesty in the recruiting process about what our expectation is, right? For not only how they compete, but how they treat one another. And the women that have chose this program, they're obviously on board with that. That was the kind of experience that they were either looking for organically, right, when we were recruiting them out of high school, or they went somewhere else and that wasn't the fit, and that's why they gravitate here. But that human element is a very real thing for us and something we take a lot of pride in, and we are certainly going to use as a tactical advantage.
Let's talk about your team for a minute now. Some exciting returners this year with Tanya and, of course, Kelsey Hall, we're going to be talking to in the next segment. What should fans expect in terms of the returners? And I know, with the case of Kelsey rehabbing off the ACL, and she's a fighter. Very excited to talk about her and her strength and resiliency. But, what should fans expect in terms of the returners on this year's squad?
Certainly. Well, we are so happy to have Kels back for sure. She looks great at the plate. I think the only difference this year is you'll see her defend less, right? So she's had some knee issues over the years, but those were 2 non-contact outfielding injuries. So she certainly elevates this program big time with her bat. So you will see her a lot in the DP role. Tanya, we're so excited about. She's a tremendous hitter with incredible hand-eye coordination. Certainly, we knew that when we got Tanya. But she has worked so hard at center field, right? And really elevating her game on the defensive side of the ball. So certainly just excited. Tanya's the best kid. Like, she just gives it all, man. Every single day to her teammates, the way she, is just constantly grinding on the field. So to watch her defense even catch up with her offense, I think is going to be real exciting for the fans too.
Yeah.
Mackenzie Brown's back in the circle.
We were just going to get to pitching.
So, yeah, we certainly have to. We couldn't go without mentioning that. So to get Ken's back will be a big deal for the program.
Yeah, you mentioned Kenzie, and obviously what she means to this team in terms of her ability inside the circle is huge, but then you also have a couple of really exciting freshmen I know you're excited about as well inside, in terms of your pitching staff. So what can you say about the rotation as a whole, if you will?
Oh, yeah. I think they're wonderful complements to one another with different strengths. 3 of them have similar profiles, right? They're going to go rise, drop, change. And interestingly enough, Julianne Tipton, one of the freshmen from Tennessee, she's very good. That drop ball is, the other 3 realistically probably have up balls that move a little bit more. Julianne's down ball moves a ton, and she's got a plush changeup. She can throw quite literally in any count for a strike. So she's going to be busy because she just, how it organically ended up, she ends up being just the visual, I think, complement to the other 3. But, Kenzie and Mika, that's a 69-70 working speed. So not only can they really bend the ball and have wonderful off-speed pitches, but 69-70 is not slow. It's going to force you to make decisions quick, right? And then Cambry Krager, which, one of the freshmen from Texas we're so excited about. Her command is honestly like nothing I've ever seen on an 18-year-old. Like, the joke is she can hit a gnat in the behind with a softball, right? And she pretty much can. Kat Osterman was her pitching coach until she got to us. And Kat did a wonderful job with her. So Cambry's ability to not only understand biomechanics, but the chess match of how we're going to win an at-bat is honestly really elite for her age. and she competes. She does not get fazed by really anything on the mound, and that was certainly a product of many years of her and Kat working together very closely. That was kind of Kat's superpower.
Yeah, well,
on the international stage.
And that's great to hear. I mean, obviously with the tutelage of someone like Kat Osterman, one of the game's all-time greats. I mean, knowing that you're getting someone that worked with her, how special is that for you? Knowing
how special for Cambry. My God,
sure.
Cambry now has one of the best women's pitchers to ever do it. Right? Kat was so elite at what she did, and then she has one of the best men's pitchers to ever do it. So. Cambry certainly has had the luxury of being able to pick the brain and work really closely with, I mean, again, like two of the GOATs. So, certainly we're so excited for the beginning of Cambry's career.
I know you talked a little bit about Kelsey, and she's going to be sitting here in this chair in just a moment, so I wanted to allow you to kind of take us behind the scenes. We're going to ask her about her rehab process and what it's been like for her to get back to where she is right now, ready to play before opening day on Thursday. But for you as her coach, seeing her strength and the mental will, I mean, that's a big part of it that people don't think of as well. What can you tell us about her and just, her state as a competitor to get back where she is now?
Kels is special. Like, she has got the spirit of a warrior, and I sincerely mean that. She's in her 6th year of college at this point, right? Between COVID and there was, a red shirt early on with, the other knee actually. So there are, I think, many points that in Kelsey's journey, even in the short time she's been with us, that she certainly, I think, could have stepped away from the game and felt like she had done everything she needed to. And that wasn't her headspace, that she's like, nope, I want to be here, I want to play, I want to finish this. So not only is she charismatic and fiery and hardworking and all the things we knew when we recruited her, but my goodness, like to have that level of just, I think, perspective and maturity and resilience out of such a young one is just special. So we are certainly blessed, and not only Kelsey's ability to hit the ball, but just her leadership and her selflessness. She's just one of the special ones,
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a great point. Obviously, the skills they all have on the diamond, it's huge. Between the lines, you want to have that talent, but her leadership, like you said, and it feels like you have several players that have that kind of leadership.
Yes.
And it goes back to the culture, which we already touched on, of course. But for you, when you have someone like a Kelsey that is that vocal leader, if you will, how do you kind of handle that as the coach? Is it a little more hands-off approach, letting her lead by example sometimes, or how does that work for you as a coach?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time with our leadership unit, right? So to not put so much pressure on any one person, we actually have a council. And we just try, in particular me, stay as connected to them and kind of make sure I have the pulse of the team. But I hope they feel that they've been empowered to troubleshoot and make decisions, and that I've got their back. And I know they will not be perfect in that process, right? They are 18 to 22, maybe 23-year-old, kids, if you will. So they won't always have the perfect words, but I just think if they're doing the right thing and they are communicating with their teammates with a good heart and the right intentions, then if I need to kind of swoop back in and troubleshoot or calm waters, I certainly can. But they are authorized to, kind of make decisions on what they think is best for the team, and we just try to stay connected to the process and guide them as best as we can.
Well,
but it certainly is a luxury.
Yeah.
Having an older one in the mix,
It's huge.
She's seen 3 different programs. She's seen a lot of wins and a lot of ways to win differently.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Coach, I know people are excited about coming out and watching you guys play. Obviously, plenty of opportunities this weekend, but really over the next month and a half before conference play gets going. And it's all going to happen quickly, so come down to Club Farrington. By the way, after we're done with this interview, Sean Crespin and I walked into the hitting facility before this interview. I might have you break down my swing. If you ever need a spot, lanky, tall right-hander.
You can hit some fungo.
Yeah.
You can do a little tryout later.
I could do fungo. That's about it. Yeah, I probably couldn't do much more than that. But Coach, thanks a lot for coming out. Best of luck this season. Thanks for hosting us today, by the way.
Thank you.
We've loved this.
Come on back.
And here's to much success moving forward.
Thank you.
We'll be with Kelsey when we come back here on Sun Devil Extra.